welcome to Nerds Drinking. I am, in fact, not drinking.
I got you covered. I'm drinking.
Oh, wait, no,
I am too.
I'll just drink right out of the bottle, I guess.
If it's going to be that kind of night, I might be underprepared.
Yeah, there's just a little bit. Oh, wow, it's trying to... NVIDIA is censoring my drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
You can't do that on a YouTube channel, man.
Oh, okay.
You can't. Yeah.
Big Brother's gotten smart. I guess we'll mark this for kids.
There goes that monetization again.
Hold on, let me get my vape.
All right, so this is an emergency session. We just felt there was enough news going on out there in the world that a special session should be warranted. First up is Crysis 4 in development. I'm sure when it's done, there will be no computers able to play it until the year 2032, but that's big news nonetheless.
Well, you still can't really buy computers right now, can you? Or at least it's still very difficult to buy video cards to play the new Crysis 4 on.
You have to buy a pre-built with the card in it.
Right.
To get any, and they are expensive. I was looking at one, the markup to go from like a 3050 Ti to the 3090 was like $1,200. So that's like $2,300 for a 20 or a 3090.
Yikes.
Well, you could always just try to add a water cooler to it and just ruin it.
So what is an update to your water cooling mishap here?
Well, I got it sent and they got it today, and then I got the message that said that we can't proceed with your return until you take care of the fee for them to restore the thermal pads to factory condition.
Ooh, so what's that fee like?
$45.
Oh shit! Get the hell out of here! $45. So, you tell them you'll make it like an even 100 if they put the GPU block on there for you.
yeah. Well, and the great thing is that this isn't even they accept or not. This is just they won't proceed until it's factory condition. Yeah. So
it's got to meet probably their standards to be resold, right? So they've got to reapply the thermal pads and see if they can, because they're going to want to. Well, at least unless they find something inherently wrong with it, then they're going to want it in resale condition or at least aftermarket condition to, third party sale, whatever. So, well, it sounds like it's going well then. I mean, they haven't just told you to F off and go away or anything.
Right. So I'm still hopeful that they will come back with that.
And you haven't bought a video card to hold you over into the interim? I know you were looking there for a minute.
I had a ATI 5700 XT just kind of sitting behind me, so I just threw it in there.
I admire the restraint in not going out and buying another like brand new video card because
you can't. So
I guess that's the thing is if you could, it would be a lot easier. But I also wouldn't put it past you necessarily to go buy a $4,000 video game machine, like a pre-built machine, just to rip a 3090 out of it or something. Desperate times, man.
Yeah.
Right. Why do I have 32 gigs of really obscure RAM? It is so hard to sell.
Yeah. So
Crysis, did you guys ever play any of the Crysis games? I never had a system at the time that would play them, but I have somehow ended up with Crysis 1 and Crysis 2 in my Steam library and yet have still never played them.
The only one I played more than a few minutes was Crysis 3, and it was a lot of fun. The whole you're a super soldier suit, game-changing mechanics was great.
Mm-hmm.
But after I started playing it, I then got into Titanfall, and I just never went back because Titanfall's the best first-person shooter in the universe.
Yeah, I think I was the same. I don't remember if I played 3. I know I did 2.
See, I was just going to let the sarcasm hang for a minute because that was pretty thick.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for 4, just simply because I think that studio does so much with the Crytek engine. It's going to be, especially it's in the early stage of development, so we're not going to see it for 3, 4, 5 years. That means when it does come out, it'll be awesome. It'll be interesting to see if they make advancements to the Crytek engine to keep up with the Unreal 5 engine. But we'll see. Hopefully in a year or two, we'll see some in-game footage instead of marked up CGI trailers.
I mean, besides like 5K, 8K stuff, is there really any game out there that's maxing a 3090 at the moment?
Cyberpunk with
That's
ray tracing.
okay. Well,
a good game though.
A game that's finished, a finished game.
Right. Exactly. So maybe
they do that. Do they even do that to games anymore? Do they finish them?
No.
I'm surprised they didn't announce this one and had a playable beta for it.
I mean, years and years of playing WoW has taught me that I am very much the, give me the beta test. And, that was like a badge of honor, was how early you were suffering in the next expansion's content. And I'm sure it still is today to people who are super into it. And I think that's funny that, modern software companies today don't think anything about pushing out a beta or what would be considered a beta to its end users. And you can just take a trip down either app store, Google's or Apple's, to see random apps just getting murdered by reviews because they pushed out a change that broke. And it's
like with the Final Fantasy launch of the new expansion, people are complaining like, oh, the queues are long and we're getting errors. And I was like, let me tell you a story about the Final Fantasy 14 beta.
Strap in, kids.
The UI had an inherent lag to it, and they didn't fix it until well after 1.0. Your character had running physics, so if you ran one way and stopped and ran the other, you'd actually plant your foot and pivot and run the other way. They took that out. 1.0 was completely different. There was no story, literally no story. And it only took them 12 years to finish that game.
So speaking of graphics cards, NVIDIA has done, or has, I don't know if it's like something that they've publicized or if this was just a leak that wasn't really a leak, but it has been rumored that they are now making preparations to abandon their position to take a hold of the ARM. They were going to buy ARM for some ridiculous 20 billion or something. Yeah. So they were going to buy ARM, and I don't know what was included with that, because some of the ARM stuff is open source and some of it is just public domain, or it's actually, I don't know.
I mean, it was all the IP, so it included everything, which is why basically when it was first announced, everyone was like, yeah, this won't fly.
I'm pretty sure it was so that they could designate future architecture and then they could apply that in their direction. That's what people were worried about, is that eventually NVIDIA would get all the best of the best, and then because it's Blueprint's architecture, like here's the trash ones before we these ones are secret, you can have the the open source ones, and then eventually AMD just stops winning according to Intel.
I guess Apple
losing, so
I guess Apple doesn't have a dog in the fight necessarily, because they're already on the ground running with their own ARM hardware, and it's not too shabby.
Yeah, but they purchased licensing for a lot of the patents, the IP for ARM architecture. So
does Apple just turn around and buy ARM now? I think that would raise probably the same suspicions.
Right. I think the same thing would happen, right?
Yeah, especially with Apple's penchant for closed ecosystems. I think it'd be even scarier if they got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, unless they came out and bought it and just said, okay, everything is under, some free domain.
Oh, well, Apple's definitely never going to do that. They're too, even their open source stuff, even their open source components and stuff that they release is, letter of the law, it is open source, but it is not open source friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just looked up the numbers. It was a $40 billion deal, and the breakup fee that NVIDIA is going to have to suffer is a $1.25 billion loss just to break up.
They've probably lost that more on just hard in sales in the past 3 years than they have anything else. So
that's crazy. $1.2 billion loss. I get mad when I lose $1. Like, I couldn't imagine losing a lot of that.
Yeah, but your stock isn't rocketing like $650 a share, or I guess it may not be this week after last week and this week in the stock market. But
what is that NVIDIA stock at?
What's the Microsoft breakup is $3 3 billion. So I'm not breakup, but if it doesn't go through.
The Microsoft Activision.
Yep. So
Oh yeah.
So-
Well, I'm sure that Apple could, or not Apple. I'm sure Microsoft could break off 3 billion a lot easier than Nvidia could.
Yeah.
Nvidia might have to sell another line of video cards or something.
Well, that means they'd have to have stock.
Well,
Maybe it could be a good thing.
At this point, I'm surprised they're not churning like little tiny GPU video cards out of anything that they have laying around the factory.
I think that's what the 3050 Ti was
Isn't
supposed to be. Yeah, it's the bad chips that didn't get binned high enough to be in their fleet cards.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like they're down about 30% in the last 2 months. From
all tech stocks have taken a huge hit this past 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't consider them a tech stock, but what is it? Tesla just got absolutely murdered. Everything. Yeah, you're right. It's just stocks and crypto across the board. Doo-doo.
Well, I think crypto is much more of a market correction. We saw this in 2019, 2020-ish. We saw a good market correction, and then we saw the big run, and then it's dropped a few times. It's run again a couple of times, but I don't know. I think what we've seen in the past 2 weeks with crypto is much more market correction.
Yeah.
I think some of those coins just got way too far out there, and some of these some of these NFT things have flaked out enough to where it's not as like, oh my god, land grab as people thought it was.
Yeah, I actually bought the dip on Baby Doge today. I raised from 8 billion coins to 28 billion coins. So I'm in it for about $30 now. That's my retirement plan right there.
Hey, that's about how my 401k stock trading is. And
I logged in.
I'm a baller, right? I am making tens of dollars there.
Yeah, I logged in today to get the paperwork to finish my taxes so I can file tomorrow. And my 401k has this nice little raise up and then a...
yeah.
It's like, oh.
Where's great big, get the fuck out of here.
Effect?
Yeah.
We need that sound effect.
Oh. All right. Up next on the docket, Steam Deck has a launch date February 25th for the 20 people that were able to reserve it. I tried, I missed it.
Okay, so I was not at all hyped for this. I kind of am now. I know there's no way in hell I'm going to get one on launch day, which I'm totally okay with, because honestly, what it comes down to is it's probably just a thing that's going to sit on my couch. But did you see the video that Valheim tweeted in the last 2 days? They tweeted a video of somebody with a Steam Deck playing Valheim on it. Holy crap. That made me get excited for it, because it looked really, really good. And like, I've seen all the marketing stuff before, but now that you're seeing third-party people get their hands on this hardware, for me, it's becoming a bit more real. It's becoming a bit more exciting.
And then the ability to go anywhere,
and then go back to your PC and continue right where you left off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like I said, launch day, like I probably in a year I will revisit it when either new revisions are on the way and buy a used one, or they get all the kinks out.
It's going to be curious to see what the big hardware hacks are, because they're spending time trying to figure out. They've learned from Nintendo. They've learned from the people who have done all the ridiculous Switch hacks.
Can we hack it with a paper clip?
Right. Fortunately, I have one of those Switches and I love it.
Yeah, I have a launch day one that I was like, oh, one paper clip and I'm golden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but brand new hardware.
The Steam Deck is going to be ARM, right? It is an ARM CPU.
I believe so.
Or is it? Yeah.
I think that's the only thing it could be, right?
Oh, the Steam Deck features a 4-core Zen 2 CPU. Is that AMD? Yeah, AMD.
So is it AMD 64?
Yeah, AMD.
I would
AMD
assume
Zen 2. Yeah, RDNA 2 GPU. So yeah, it's got to be 64.
X64?
Yeah.
Holy shit. So is the thing going to just like overheat instantly in your hands?
I hope
Well, it's
so.
a lap
I mean,
warmer,
certainly there.
so-
So, oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
it's
as long
got
as you don't go Apple on it and start burning people's crotches, which they had that. There was a lawsuit about the MacBook
Right.
Pros years ago.
Yeah.
It is a mobile processor, so I'm sure the max power and heat has been adjusted accordingly.
Yeah. So yeah.
But still, yeah, it's still got to pump out some heat because even the Switch gets a nice little hot spot in the back when you're crunching through it.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the Switch that had the bent units where if you had it in the dock and it got too hot and not enough ventilation, like either the dock or the Switch would actually flex and bend.
Weird.
Yeah. But I only played Mario Party, so that did not tax the Switch in any shape or form.
You know, I have dumped a significant time into not Mario Party, but Diablo 3, out of which I find kind of odd because Diablo 3 definitely plays super weird on consoles. But I've dumped tons of time into Diablo 3, and then also, you know, Animal Crossing got me there for a hot minute. You know, no shame.
Yeah, my sister owns a Switch, and she's actually both my sisters are Animal Crossing addicts. As soon as the expansion just recently dropped, it was like I didn't hear from them.
Yeah. You are nothing.
Did you happen to ever play Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch?
I have it.
It is
And
terrible.
it is not good.
The blood looks like motor oil.
Yeah, it definitely was not a very good port, and I don't know, like, I don't understand how, you know, I don't know how those things are done. You know, I just assume it's magic, but yeah, it did not look great. Now I have the ultimate version also on the Xbox, and it looks damn good there.
Well, did they have to
Yes.
do some of that to pass Chinese censorship because they don't
No, I don't think necessarily
blood
I think
it's
just
No,
a terrible port?
the
I
scallop
think
potato
it's-
CPU.
and the Switch is so damn slow too. Not like while you're playing it, but the loading feels like, have y'all played Diablo 3 on the Switch? It feels
Yes.
so,
Yes.
and Animal Crossing too, I noticed it. It
really
feels
slow.
so slow to like load into something. And maybe it's just me being super impatient.
Did you ever play Lego Undercover on the Switch? No joke.
I did not.
It's like 5-minute load times.
Well, they actually did. A group of people got there was the notorious one, or one of the notorious ports was really bad. One of the wrestling games was really, really terrible, and actually got enough people complained because Nintendo wouldn't do refunds on the Switch games at all, that they actually got a patch out for it and fixed a lot of the issues. So moral of the story, don't upset your wrestling gamer fans.
Meanwhile, Take-Two with their GTA series holding up both middle fingers as they walk backwards.
Also towards the Save Red Dead Online, right? Have
Oh my
they
God.
done anything, or has Rockstar acknowledged anything?
Nope.
I haven't seen anything.
Everything
Yeah.
they bring out is either like double money for blood contracts, or
Mhm.
like, look forward to GTA 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably not
So,
going to come out until the console life cycle.
You know, speaking of wrestling, you know, The Rock announced, or Dwayne Johnson announced, that he's going to be starring in a next game movie.
Oh, Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat movie. I fully support that. Even though he's wearing a mask and I can't see the one eyebrow raising, I'm super excited about that casting.
This is the first I'm hearing about this, and I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Shao Kahn is Dwayne Johnson. Yes.
Yes.
Shut up and take my money.
Yes.
I saw he's also Black Adam for DC.
He's also Black Adam.
Yeah.
I did not realize that they had cast him in that. I saw
Yeah.
that they were making Black Adam, but I didn't realize that they had cast him.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a weirdo. I really liked the Ballers show that he did on HBO.
yes,
I thought that was really
great.
awesome.
That was
Ballers.
great.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I need to rewatch it. I only watched the first season, and it was so good. I was like, I want to see it all at once, and then I just dropped it from my life. And I believe it's finished now. I did the same thing with
Yeah.
Entourage. I watched one season of Entourage. I was like, I'm not watching it again until we're done.
That's a good plan. Both of those definitely worth just sitting there and just drowning yourself in it.
Yeah, Sex in the City wasn't worth the wait.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, wouldn't have expected it.
I was scrolling through HBO, I think, and there's a revival.
Of Sex in the City, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Get your glass of rosé and watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, the funny thing about that was if you took the ages of all the characters and the ages of the actresses, they're actually older than the Golden Girls when the Golden Girls started.
You're right. I read that. That was funny. Quite a different look.
Yeah, very different look, right? That internet wasn't a good idea, guys.
Oh, now we got to pour some out for Betty White.
Right? Damn.
My censored pour.
Yeah, it was a string of celebrity deaths.
Yeah. All right. Oh, also in the news, more Star Wars games than you can point a finger at, which is great. They're finally doing something with the IP. After Squadrons and Jedi Fallen Order, I'm super excited about what's going to be coming down the pipeline.
So Squadrons fell flat, didn't it?
I loved it. But I played it in VR, so I might be a little bit biased.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I've heard in VR, it's just a totally different experience.
Yeah. I saved the universe, so you're welcome. I was there.
That's awesome.
So releasing three games. So is that
Respawn.
is that like trying to capture all market genres for people to play?
Yeah, because
I think there's a fuck ton of IP to go around, and they're finally capitalizing on it, maybe.
Yeah, and I want to say they're doing a first-person shooter, and in the announcement, they tied it to Star Wars: The Old Republic. So the 20,000 years before the movies or so tie-in, which is great. But as we were talking about the other day, a new Star Wars MMO is direly needed. Something that doesn't look like the Clone Wars CGI show.
But they couldn't do that with the current one, right? They would have to wait until the IP, because I would be surprised if the current MMO doesn't have like an exclusivity of the IP kind of deal to where there can't be like competing Star Wars MMOs, right?
I don't know. That would make sense to have. BioWare would be smart to have that, but I truly hope they don't. And if they can't do it, give me an open world Star Wars game, a la like the 700-hour Assassin's Creed game, where I can just spend the next 9 months of my life going around,
right,
killing small children and hiding inside of.
So yeah, the combination of like open world games and kind of like bridging the genres a little bit is kind of what the new Pokemon, the Archeron. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm terrible at Pokemon. The new Pokemon Archeron or Arceus game comes out this week and is getting pretty good reviews. It's because they've kind of shaken up the format of just reissuing the games, which I kind of laughed at, but they also kind of added an element of like Breath of the Wild style open world to the game. So I don't know. I got into Pokemon very, very late in life and in their existence, and it's it wasn't something I grew up with, so it's not something I have a ton of nostalgia for. But I definitely have an appreciation for the games, and the style.
Yeah. So I was just able to find here the 3 games that are coming from Respawn. One is the Fallen Order sequel, which is like a third-person Souls hack and slash, whatever you want to call it. There's a first-person shooter. And then the last one is just simply listed as a strategy game. So maybe an RTS.
I would most likely say
Star Wars Craft.
Oh my God. I'm glad I'm not wearing pants because they'd be messed. That would be amazing.
The it's not Galactic Civilizations, but there is a tabletop RPG war game on the, I want to say it's on the level of like Warhammer, but not as prolific, as widespread. But there is a large tabletop community of people who are playing the game, and it's essentially Star Wars, but you're controlling armies and doing all kinds of crazy battles and such. something like that as a digital game, to where it's kind of like an RTS, like Starcraft, Warcraft, that sort of thing, would be freaking phenomenal and incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, there's just so much in the IP to draw from. I don't think we've seen it, but a RTS live service game, I think I just made everyone $1 billion, because I would definitely keep playing it. Let's see here.
Now it just depends on, from announcement, how many years are we waiting?
Yeah, and are the game studios going to survive?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's Respawn, so they came out and they said that is what they're working on. I believe they're the studio that did Titanfall. They came out and said Titanfall's dead. We're working on these only. Does Respawn still fall under the EA umbrella? Let me ask my friend Google.
Yeah, I don't remember if they are still under that or not.
It's will oversee the new phase of EA's relationship with Lucasfilm. So
okay, yeah, they still owned.
Yeah.
Nice. And I think that's why Fallen Order did so well. If you guys haven't played it, it's amazing, but it's hard.
Oh, it is fantastic.
But EA basically said, do whatever you want. And they said, we're not doing microtransactions, and the world rejoiced.
They'll soon implement NFTs in their game, though.
Oh.
I mean, what are you gonna like? And I think about that, and I think about WoW. Like you're gonna take a game where the goal is to let as many people have as many experiences as they can across as many different classes and as many different scenarios with different people, and you're selling this experience, right? Because you're trying to get them to cash in and trying to keep them paying the subscription fee, right? But then you're going to introduce something like NFTs, which gives permanence ish. And it's like, that doesn't seem to make sense to me. I don't see how that makes sense. But I mean, obviously, maybe it's not going into something like WoW, and maybe it's not going to be NFTs of like things like gear or in-game items, but pets or collectibles or something like that. But that's still more digital abundance than NFTs are, because NFTs are supposedly one of a kind, and it is digital scarcity, which still doesn't make any sense to me, someone who grew up with the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my first sight of an NFT in a game was Ubisoft putting it in the Ghost Recon first-person shooters. Like, get this helmet and boots by playing 200,000 hours. And I was like, that just turned me off from your game completely, because I don't want to do that. And then I was like, that looks like a great idea. What was it? Square Enix came out and said, we're going to look at this and like we're going to put these in the games. And it's like, do you imagine Final Fantasy 14 with NFTs? The code's so old and so spaghetti, it probably would never work. But just the thought of it kind of puts a doo-doo, taste in my mouth.
Honestly, when NFTs came out, I honestly thought that that's what Steam trading cards were going to be. Like, you remember Steam trading cards before they had like achievements or something? You would get these little trading card items in your Steam inventory. I was like, is that an NFT? I mean, kind of. Not really, but
shh, don't say that out loud.
Yeah,
they might hear you. I don't understand. Like, the trading cards got a big hoopla in the beginning, and now I just get them. Like, if I look at my Steam, I have like 10,000 notifications that I unlock.
Yeah.
I could go sell them for a Starbucks gift card or something.
I keep checking mine just in case I've done something really dumb and I have like one of those one in 5,000 things that's like worth $5 or something. And that's what it would be. It would be like one of those 1 in a million things, and it's like, oh, what is it worth? It's worth $5. Thanks for nothing.
Yep. Like, what is it? The Counter-Strike Go, or the Counter-Strike skins that created like the underground gambling kids universe. I thought that's what Steam was going to become. Like, oh, they're just going to cash in on that and migrate, but It just kind
Yeah,
of
it turns
peters
out they moved on from CS:GO skins. They just went straight to sports.
straight to oh my gosh. The FIFA what is it? Mutt? No, that's Fut? Yeah, Fut.
Fut,
FUT,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, FUT.
Oh my god.
Because
Madden
it's
does it
HUT
too.
in the
Yeah.
NHL.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice. Hut, Fut, Mutt. And I guess
Yeah.
basketball would be butt.
Maybe.
Oops.
It'd be
We
better
need to
than
rethink
nut.
this.
Yeah. Those are couch cows. Like people that play sports games are I guess addictive breed.
I like sports games, but I like the hockey games, and it's just because I can sit there and once I get good enough at the game, I can just tune everything out and just like go into zombie mode and just score a million goals.
Yeah. I actually
Just
had EA reach out to me. Like I'm part of their play testing group or whatever, and they reached out and like, we want you to play, 1 hour a day for 10 days. NHL 21. This is before it came out, and they're like, we'll give you a checklist of everything we want you to do, and then at the end, we'll give you a free copy. And so I downloaded it from their insider store. I played it, and it was so fun that I never did the checklist. And at the end of the 10 days, they took it away, and I got a nasty letter like, you are ineligible for any more testing. It's like,
oh, nice.
So I
remember when game companies paid people to do that as a job.
Oh, I used to work for EA at BioWare, and I lasted 2 weeks, and then EA got rid of all QA for BioWare, all of it, every single one. But my names are in the SWTOR credits, so that's my achievement in life. It doesn't get any better than that. I peaked.
What else do you need, man?
Yeah. It's like, come here, watch the screen for 20 minutes to get to my name.
Right.
Oh no, we lost Vector.
Oh, it's that Oregon internet.
That messed up all my name placards. I'll just go and turn those off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he crashed. That's what he gets for using an ATI video card.
If he had bought a new video card, it wouldn't have been a problem.
So, new season of Tribes of Midgard, worth it? Is it up the fun?
So it's I mostly play solo because I'm cheating my ass off with the trainer, so I don't like have to worry about dying or anything. So I can pretty much solo it. The new saga boss is a lot of fun, but I never really got to the saga bosses before I started cheating my ass off because I was playing in public games and never really did much. But at this point, I've got it down to where I know what to go do. So I feel like Mirai playing Zelda 2, the randomizer, where I can just go and just jump in and go do all the things and collect all the little horns. And I do a couple of runs every few days, and that's enough to get me the in-game currency to buy the funny outfits and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I stopped playing because playing in public lobbies with other people was infuriating because no one would go to the bosses, no one would do the objectives. And then playing by myself, I didn't even think about a trainer. It was just so hard. After like 2 or 3 days, it's like, and that's the end of the single player game for me.
Yeah, that's the lobbies were fun. The public lobbies were fun when I was figuring out what to do and figuring out the starter packs, because you can start into a world with a specific set of gear or tools or features, right? So I always start the worlds with the tools that you need to craft and collect ore. So I always would join public lobbies and then just go start searching for things to try to build better weapons, better tools, and that sort of thing. But most of the people in the public lobbies don't share materials. So you have people go out there and they're just farming all the stuff and not ever putting it back into the community pot. So nobody can ever do anything. So you ultimately just get wiped. But I mean, the game is just so much fun. And I had no intention of ever playing this. And you're the one who played it a couple times and got me into it. And I was like, oh, well, hell, let's give this a shot. And here I am. I've got like 50, 60 hours in the game, and it's a lot of fun. But like many games, it's a lot more fun when you're playing by yourself, or if you don't play with people from the public. Now, I did join the Discord server and put in some effort in getting some groups there, and that was a lot of fun because you're playing with people who like are on the same page with you. They want to go do the things too they're trying to do, At the time, it was Fenrir runs, the first saga boss.
Yeah.
So you would just have to go do. So to unlock that boss, you have to go do. You have to earn 4 different kinds of fragments. You have to do quests. You have to do events. You have to kill a boss, and you have to do clear a hideout. Well, the shortcut thing is there are vendors scattered across the map that will sell you these items, so you don't have to go do the quests and things. You just have to go find the vendors. So jumping in and finding the vendors is kind of like the randomizer aspect, because the world's different every time. So I jump into the world, I have to go start exploring, and then there's you can build boats now as part of the season 2 thing. So you can build a dock and you can actually go out in a boat. And the saga 2 or the season 2 saga boss, you have to go out and find these little dragon areas, these dragon icons off.
Yeah.
And you have to sail to them and then go beat the mobs that are there to turn on the shrine. And that's what activates the boss. So there's a lot of stuff to do. And I mean, the public games, when I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, I would just go in there and just like farm trees forever and then just go dump materials. And then we would lose because, eventually you just get overrun by mobs or something. But it's a lot of fun. And it scratches one of those itches, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got this.
But Final Fantasy 14, getting back into that, I told the wife I stayed up past my bedtime last night playing that.
So, yeah, I remember when you stopped playing last time is we went into the trial, just you and I, and you didn't do any of the mechanics and you just died. And we're like, yeah, maybe that's enough for the night.
Yeah, I got so frustrated. And then I played like 1 or 2 more times since then. And I would get so frustrated because I didn't finish doing what I was doing when I stopped playing before. So like last night or the night before last, I was getting super pissed off because I was trying to figure out where I was in the main story quest line. And it kept telling me to go do a thing and I couldn't do the thing. And I was like, oh my God, why can't I do this thing? And then I realized, oh, well, this quest is having me go attune to an instance. So I went back to the instance entrance and I had to literally right click on the instance to unlock the hard mode. And that's what I had to do to continue the quest line. So earlier today, I blew through like 15 more quests because I got past the one quest that I spent 6 months avoiding.
That's awesome.
But I get with that. I get like that with games, man. I'll play a bunch of games or I'll play a game for a bunch and then I'll just put it down. Like I need to go back and do more Horizon Zero Dawn. I got to the point where I ran into a pretty complex puzzle that I couldn't figure out on my own. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just done with this game for now. And it's the same exact thing as Final Fantasy. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to go do something else for now. And all I need to do is go look up that puzzle and figure out how to clear the puzzle to get to the next room.
Oh, and Final Fantasy 14, did you end up going with the Reaper or sticking with the Black Mage?
So I went with the Reaper. The Reaper was a lot of fun. I did a couple of hard mode dungeons or trials. A couple of them were just the little single boss, but I got my ass kicked by the hard mode, the naval, where it's like just this one big beast and he hits really hard and just like wrecked my world and I just couldn't do anything. But I think that's also just kind of trying to figure out how to play melee in this, because this is the first time I've tried melee in Final Fantasy. I've always played caster. Final Fantasy seems kind of slower to me. Like it's not like WoW where you're just trying to spam globals to get into cooldowns, or you're trying to spam keys to get into your global to keep your flow going or your rotation going. With Final Fantasy, it seems much more slower than that. It's much more relaxed. So that's definitely taking a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, it has a nice floor, but the ceiling is really high when you want to start min-maxing. Because what they do is they give you that 2.5 second global cooldown that, if you stack enough stats, you can get it down to 2.1 if you're lucky. But that's still 2 seconds for a global. But then they give you all these off the global cooldown abilities that you weave in between your abilities. And that's the difference between a regular player and a pro player. And then for added fun for melees, because you have to avoid a lot less because you're just standing there with your finger in your nose, is the abilities have directionals where it's like, does X extra if you do it from the flank, from the rear. So you got to be constantly repositioning yourself. It's a lot of fun. And Vector says he's still freezing. What a noob.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than playing like WoW or playing a rogue where all you're going to do is stand there and backstab somebody for infinity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or worse, if you're leveling solo, you're just going to sit there and spam your point builder, your points builder, to build up points so you can do real damage.
Yeah. Like I just tried tanking for the first time ever in the game. I leveled up a paladin, and I leveled it through trust and through the squadron feature and through Palace of the Demon stuff. So I never actually tanked something for people. And then when I hit 90, I was like, all right, let me go tank this end game dungeon for these people. And it was horrendous because the nerves of, am I standing in the right place? Am I doing these? It was a fresh dungeon, never done it before either. And
Yeah,
it was horrific. And I was like, wow, there is tanking still the easiest job in the game, but you just can't pick it up and do it. You actually need to practice. But I had a lot of fun.
Is it rotation management? Is it threat management? What is it?
A little column A, little column B. If you do everything right, tanking's just super easy, and you either just avoid the you can't avoid all the tank busters, but you can avoid some. Sometimes there's ads, you need to quickly pick them up, or you reposition the boss if something's going to happen. But when I did one of the trials, which is the 8-man with 2 tanks,
Yeah,
it's positioning and tank swapping, and if as long as you're doing that right, it's just easy street.
right.
But yeah, taking's definitely the easiest job in the game, and I would put healing as the hardest, simply because if done right, you should be DPSing a lot, and healing second, especially with Sage. But black mages, they like to stand and stuff. I'm one of them. I need to get those extra casts out, and I'm not effing moving.
Yeah, that's me too. That's why I died so much as black mage.
Yeah, and like they give you the toolkits where like you lay down your ley lines, which increase your DPS, and then you constantly have to move out of it. But they give you a button to teleport back. I get itchy, and I'll teleport back and then get killed by a tank buster or fun stuff like that.
So the fun thing for Reaper is you get a blink forward. It's called like Hell's Ingress, and there's Hell's Egress, which is like a blink backwards. Yep. So I am constantly there was one boss where we were on a platform, so I was just launching myself off the platform forwards, and then I would get rezzed, and then I would come around, and then I would be like, oh crap, there's something I need to get out of, and I would think I would be going forward, and I would hit the backwards button, and it was just comical.
Yeah. So later on, they give you an ability when you do that jump forward or jump backwards, you like rip a hole in time and space. So you have a little portal there. And when you hit the button again, you'll teleport to wherever you jumped from. And
oh, hell yes.
I will constantly accidentally hit the button in a panic, trying to jump even farther backwards, but teleport myself back forward, and then just take something right to the face.
Like a double blink.
Yeah.
Wow.
It definitely takes a lot of getting used to. Oh, look. Old man.
Oh, he's back.
Old man Winters is back.
Yeah, it takes me a long time to restart, especially when it freezes 3 times in a row.
Yikes.
ATI, man. See, I haven't had a blue screen in. I mean, I don't remember the last time I had a blue screen.
No, I can't say too much. I run insiders, so I have the occasional green screen.
Green screen, I can understand.
I think I have like a 10-year uptime on my computer.
I keep getting tempted to go back to Linux on the desktop, but WSL being able to run Linux in Windows and not have to reboot is pretty freaking incredible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, not bad. 3 hours or 3 days and 38-minute uptime. I guess that's because updates. I run them on Sunday nights. Awesome.
So what glorious news did I miss?
Nothing. We were just chatting about Final Fantasy 14 and Tribes of Midgard and other fun stuff.
Yeah, so speaking of, you're on a boat. Speaking of Final Fantasy, you see that the director said he's got 10 more years of content.
Yes, he wants to work on it for 10 more years, which would mean 5 more expansions, which equals the same life cycle we just hit. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but you guys need to hurry up, get to 90 so we can go start farming the older content, because all the best mounts you have to do all the trials on extreme on the hardest, the hardest setting, and then a random mount drops. You got to collect all those mounts, and then you turn it in for the Uber mount. And it's easily doable. It's just hard solo. So the more people I can get, the better.
I'm old, and I just need step-by-step instructions on playing this game.
Same, really. I mean, yeah. Me too.
There is a lot to it, and you can get, especially the rotations for some of the jobs and stuff. It gets pretty crazy. Even reading the guides, they have this like 6-row rotation guide of buttons, right? So you in the order that you need to press. Like,
wow. I get it about halfway, and then I just start over, and things die well enough so far. It's like the saving grace for me is things die eventually.
Yeah. Once you get through the story, what I like to do is go to the Palace of the Dead, where it starts you out as level 1. And then I will play 1 to 60 in the Palace of the Dead, because it gives you the abilities as you level up one by one. You kind of feel how the game pieces it together, especially for these jobs that start at 70. Because you're like, it's like, unlock a new job. Here's 38 abilities. Like, go and be free.
Right. It's when you boost, right? And it's like,
yeah, but like Summoner used to have the worst rotation ever. It was like a screen of 9,000 different buttons in the order to push them in, and then they flipped the script completely, and now it's like Summoner go brr, and you just press one button and your DPS.
See, that's the old man.
That's my
that is the job for you. Like, it starts out, it used to be you had to do like 92 different things to summon Bahamut, the pet for the DPS, but now there's a Bahamut button. You just press it.
I love it. I'll use one of my buttons in my Elgato foot pedal to summon it.
Yeah, deploy the DPS.
Yeah,
you just got to look it up and add a variable keystroke macro to your Stream Deck, and you just press it for DPS. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I just need to sit down and get back and do it. Because the last time I played, I was doing the red mage stuff, and I have to log back in to see if that even is still relevant.
Everything changed with the expansion, from a little bit to a lot of bit. But the last patch that just came out, they upped the DPS of every single job but Reaper, pretty much. And even Paladin got a huge buff. So I like that this game doesn't do nerfs. It just buffs everything. And then if it overpowers content, then they just buff the content.
It's just a nice scale that just keeps going up.
Yeah.
Bigger numbers. People want bigger numbers.
Yeah. Unless you're a white mage. Apparently F white mages is the mantra.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say red mages.
Oh, red mages are great. DPS, heals, and reses. Like, yes, please. They're great for raids that do like content pushing and all that stuff. And then when they get it on farm, they kick all the red mages out and bring in the black mages. So next up here on the docket, we've got Blizzard's survival game. I want to be excited. I am excited. It's very early. I mean, if they're hiring all those people now, 3 years before we see anything is my guess. Whether that's 3 years, like, surprise, we've been working on it for 10 years, here it is, or...
So what I've read is they've been working on it for 2 years.
Okay.
Now, it's Blizzard, so
that means they have the IP worked out and maybe some of the story.
Right? Yeah, they've got some storyboards.
Code yet.
Yeah.
Which is probably good.
The thing is, the survival game is pretty grand genre, so it really can be anything.
Yeah, it's all about the gameplay loop, keeping people playing forever.
They also the bar isn't very high. So this definitely does not have to be a Blizzard quote parentheses TM game at all. They could just churn out a Fortnite clone, and people will be like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing ever."
Right.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of survival shovelware now. Shovelware might not be it, but indie survival games, and they are bad. Like I tried Stranded
Right.
Deep, where it's like, oh, I get to be stranded on an island and fight sharks, and I made it about an hour, and I was like, I should own a gun because this is bad. But then there's two games that I really love that are survival: the Forest and the Long Dark. Whereas, but the Forest was great because it scratches that survival itch, it scratches the zombie horde itch, and it has a mode where you can turn off the enemies. So I can just go around chopping down trees and building log cabins. Which
Nice.
is in my blood. I'm half lumberjack, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as more details come out what they decide to do, what direction they take it.
Because they said unrelated to the existing fantasy and sci-fi universes. So to me that says new IP and no crossovers.
Yeah. I think this is totally new IP. I think if they didn't have some new IP coming in the next 5 years, they'd be sunk pretty bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the graphic they showed, it had the city up in the right or left corner, top corner, and then the portal into this other world. Right. So
yeah.
No recognizable.
Yeah. My chief worry though is the way they came out and they said new heroes to meet, new stories to be told. So either A, we're going to have a linear survival game that has an end, or B, they're going to try to do branching and dynamic stories like a lot of I don't know if you ever played the game Bastion. It was fairly loose, and they had a narrator that would adapt to what you were doing in the game and tell a story. That would be pretty cool. But
interesting.
My worry would be that they're like, here's a survival game, and it's 50 hours of content, and then that's it. There's no replayability. It's like, oh, here, just up the difficulty level. So I'm looking.
Well, I think anything they're going to come out with is going to have seasons as a feature. I think they've taken that and they've done well with it in Diablo, and they've learned that formula. So at the very least, I think you'll have something that supports seasons with cosmetics and that sort of thing. But there's got to be something else of substance there, right? Diablo seasons aren't the only reason we go back and play. It's that Diablo is actually a pretty fun game when it comes to action RPGs.
And I mean, if you look at their catalog, everything has differing characters. Heroes of the Storm, different heroes. WoW, different classes. Diablo, different classes. Even Call of Duty has different operators. So one would beg to think, are they going to do the same thing in the survival game where you have multiple different characters you can play that have different survivability skills? I think that you don't see that in the game. Everyone is just, blank player A, go get some wood, build a house. Like, I think
or find the best weapon.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was my hope for Ark. I was like, dinosaurs, weird stuff. Let's do it. And then it was just the vanilla, like you're an unnamed player, go out and do this stuff. And it fell flat for me. I know people love it, but it just didn't draw me in.
Look at No Man's Sky, right? That's a pretty big survival game that is full of exploration, planet wise. You can go and find new planets and build your own bases, from the foundation on up. It really kind of used your imagination a la Minecraft, which is another considered survival game. So, they have such a huge just a breadth of difference of survival games that can take their direction of this game. So it's just going to be interesting.
No Man's Sky really did pull that out of their bums, because when it launched, it was like, this is great, but it's missing so much. And then I came back like 2 years later. I was like, okay, this is a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed it. They added a story, which was just baffling because there's 5 quintillion planets. And so being able to do that was amazing. And I don't know if you guys have done it, but Minecraft on PC with ray tracing, it will cripple your system, but it is a lot of beautiful scenery.
At this point, I'm not going to do anything that would tax my system at all. I mean, this is probably enough before it freezes. So
Yeah. But
ATI.
I'm guessing Blizzard's game, since it's survival and they're saying heroes and all that, I'm gonna go and throw out a guess here that it's gonna be high fantasy or medieval-ish, fantasy lore type. I don't think they'll go sci-fi. There is no sci-fi survival games that, other than like No Man's Sky, that it's a sorely underrepresented genre. But if you look at Blizzard, they do guns and fantasy. Fantasy guns would be great too.
More to come. Hopefully it's not like 3 years out.
And hopefully it's not an Overwatch clone too, because that would be super easy for them to just copy pasta Overwatch into a survival game, because it's so close.
You mean like Ubisoft just did with Rainbow Six Extraction? They took Siege, changed the pants, and made it linear, and they're like, here you go.
I installed that and played it, and I was like, the hell is this? I was like, someone pulled a fast one in somewhere. I see, it's like 100%. I totally see what you did there. And I don't even play a bunch of the Rainbow Six games.
Yeah. But I think Diablo Immortal and Overwatch 2 will come out before this. The big question is Diablo 4 or unnamed survival game, which comes first?
Oh, it's got to be Diablo 4.
I mean, I can't imagine it not coming out first.
The stuff that we've seen with Diablo 4 shows that they're actually writing code and building assets, and because I've always felt like Blizzard has had three distinct, working sections of development. They get the world building, the lore building. They rip it out of Metzen's head, and then the next team builds it and makes it technically possible, and then the third step is they scale the crap out of the development team, and that's what you get the game out of.
I have this weird fear. It's irrational, but I was never known to be rational. But my irrational fear is we're going to see, maybe not to the degree of StarCraft Ghost for the N64, where they teased it for 7 years and then killed it. But this in a year,
painful.
They're gonna George R. Martin us and be like, "Oh, the game's coming. You just gotta wait. Oh, the dragons are coming. Just keep watching."
It would be surprising to see if Microsoft went back into the back catalog and pulled anything out, because they had built Ghost for the Xbox, right? Like that, they had built the game on two different platforms, was my understanding, right? And then they got so far in development, they were like, "Screw it, yeah."
Let's see here.
I don't know that
it was Xbox, GameCube, and PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Oh man, and it was in all the magazines. There was like trailers that I'd spend 19 hours downloading to watch for 30 seconds. I was so pumped for it.
Epic vaporware, man.
Oh.
I would say the only issue with Diablo 4 is a lot of the leads were either fired or left, and you wonder how much that delayed.
Yeah. As somebody that leads
change direction,
I don't do much, so it might be like no backpedaling at all. But then again, like technical artists, that's the plural now. I just invented that. Technical artists, programmers, and story writers. I could see leads leaving, just completely disheveling the entire unit.
Or the new lead coming in and says, "Hey, this is my idea."
Yeah. Or the new lead comes in and is like, "I need 2 years to get up to speed on what you did. Please stop working." Yeah.
And you wonder if Blizzard will delay anything until after either Microsoft or all of this terrible stuff that's happening.
I'm sure Bobby has golden parachute parameters that he has to meet from Microsoft to let him go peacefully into the night. And I'm hoping that they're performance based of like, you must make this amount of progress on all your projects, or you must not lose this many people to lawsuits or stuff like that. Because they bled talent over the last month, just out the door.
Oh yeah. What was his golden parachute? 300 million?
Something insane like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a golden shower I can get under. Like,
I mean,
he
not that he needs
has
any
done
money either.
very
So.
well. Well, he's done very well for the shareholders. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Activision acquiring Blizzard was a huge win for the shareholders. Absolutely. But
Yep.
yeah, he's done exactly what he should have.
Yeah, but he turned it into not my Blizzard.
Yeah, somebody was going to have to. He's just the demon who did it.
Yeah, he's just the demon who did it. I'm very hopeful for Microsoft taking over. I know we're beating this horse with as many shovels as we can, but I hope that they go into the back catalog, revive old IPs, remaster everything. Give me StarCraft 3. Please. StarCraft 3.
I mean, it can't get worse, right? I mean, the only worse is that they cease to exist, which they're not going to spend that much money and not make an effort, right? You're not going to pay 70 billion just to.
Yeah, I think they're looking at WoW specifically and like, yeah, we could run that and we can run that for another 20 years for sure.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially
and
since
people will play it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy hasn't hit the Xbox. Final Fantasy 14 was supposed to be coming to the Xbox ecosystem, and it hasn't. So what if they grab it and say, here's WoW on the Xbox and keyboard support, go for it.
So that's interesting. Is Final Fantasy on Xbox going to become a bargaining chip for Square Enix and Sony?
Ooh.
Is Sony going to be like, no, we don't want you to put that on the Xbox?
Oh, yeah, especially with, Final Fantasy 16 also in development. It's like, you want some Final Fantasy. They're obligated to give Call of Duty for like the next 3 titles to Sony, but that's it. That's all that's left in the contract.
Yeah, that'll just be rehashed.
Yeah.
it'll be like the King of the Hill games where it's just like, one small 200-yard by 200-yard map, and it'll be like the Epic Edition or something. Sorry, that's a title. That doesn't count. Yes, it does.
Yeah. You weren't specific.
That's right.
Oh, you wanted English language packs? That's not in the contract. Sorry.
Music? Oh.
All
right.
You guys got my itch. Now I'm going to install StarCraft 2 to play while I'm working.
Dude, I play it and fire it up and just play against the AI every so often. I love StarCraft 2 so much.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is go into the map editor and build PvE maps where me and real life human friends are on one side of the map with multiple choke points, unlimited resources, and then super retarded, and by retarded I mean hard, AI on the other end of the map. And it's basically a survival mode. Like, can you beat it? Probably not, but it's going to be fun trying.
Nice. I like it.
But I'm Protoss, so
same. I mean, I could play Zerg too.
Yeah, there's a huge ramp up time with Protoss, so I have to make the maps real big to give me time before they run over there and murder me.
Time to build that SimCity.
Yeah, just 400 photon cannons is the first step of playing Protoss against like insane AI computer. Yeah, that's what we should do next stream. Let's all do some StarCraft 2 multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
I'll build a nice little 3v5 map against the computer.
You can really see terrible play. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, I haven't played in a couple of years. I know in StarCraft 1, I would make myself Protoss and in the campaign or the map editor, and then I'd put one Zerg drone and one SCV by the resources, and then I'd give myself one Archon so that I could mind control them, and then I could build all 3 races so I could have a 600 unit cap. That was good times. And then my little turbocharged Pentium 2 processor would melt.
All right, I've started the install.
Oh, darn, you got.
I mean, it was so bad. I even had the icon hidden in my BattleNet.
That's yeah. I know that feeling.
Start it up. StarCraft 2 install.
It should be done by next week. Better start watching some videos. What's this button do?
Yeah, it's what is it? APM actions per minute. Doesn't matter what you're clicking, as long as you're clicking something, you're winning.
Kind of.
All right. Well, while we're on the Blizzard train, let's hit our last topic: Blizzard and unions.
You mean no unions?
Oh yeah, no. Excuse me, Blizzard and no unions.
Yeah, denied.
That's crazy. What's their thinking there? The ignore it and it goes away, or we're too big for it to matter?
I think any company when it comes to unions, they try to ignore it until they absolutely don't have to. And I think for them to not ignore it, I think you have to have a certain percentage of people sign the union cards and turn them in. And it's a lot to do. And the companies can do so much to dissuade you and intimidate you. They can bring in people and have them talk to you about why unions are bad. There's all kinds of stuff in the news where Facebook and big social media companies do the same thing to their employees. And, the US had a lot of unions during the 50s and 60s and 70s and the 80s. And the unions have definitely fallen by the wayside in the past 30 years. There are much fewer unions, but I think to some degree that you've had such a shift in the jobs that unions are very uncommon in technical companies. They're very, very uncommon. Like a web developer union, what's that? A programmer union, what's that? An engineering union? Okay, that gets more into kind of the realm of reality and what people would expect. And there's people who have tried to form unions of software developers, and this is an instance of, I think it's a quality assurance, a QA team trying to
contractor QA
form a union.
Yeah.
Well, there are definitely job titles that are more inherent to exploitation, right? That would definitely have protection under a union, like a programmer. Oh, you can work 90 hours, no problem. Right, no breaks.
My story a few minutes ago, working QA for BioWare, and one day they just walk in and said, "They're gone."
Right. Yeah. So it would be pretty costly for companies. But something has to change because the environments are just so toxic.
Yeah. So Blizzard released a statement, and then the Raven software, I believe it's called, or Raven or whatever, had a rebuttal to Activision / whoever's statement. And it's, when management uses meaningless buzzwords like alignment, synergy, and reorganization, they're sending a message. We make all the decisions. We have all the power. And then I went back and read their statement. It was basically like, they'll be working hand in hand. There'll be synergy. There'll be alignment in the departments with the contractors and department people.
As you're working 90 hours. No breaks.
So I don't have much insight into Microsoft's union practices at a granular level, but I wonder, is Activision just trying to ride this out and be like, we just don't want to deal with it, because does the new management restart the clock on everything? Like, more time to negotiate, less leverage for the workers? If I was a lawyer, I'd have all these answers for you, but I don't.
Well, you'd have all these answers for a price, because this is business law. This is the expensive shit.
Yeah. Or I could just go to Quora and make a post and get all the answers for you in a day.
Yeah, or you could just post on the internet, post whatever you think is right, and somebody will let you know if you're wrong.
I heard Reddit is full of experts.
They are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can confirm.
Yeah, the posts always start with "not a lawyer, but," and then you get straight facts.
Yeah, this isn't
not a lawyer, but
this isn't financial advice, but
yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a moderator of our law.
Yeah. How many people, Joe, are in your department, like your coworkers, your team, what have you?
So my department, so the engineering department at my company, we are a 25-ish person company, small startup. A year ago, we were 15 people, so we are a growing startup. So it is definitely, we are in the hockey stick growth when it comes to the team. So my coworkers in the engineering department, there's me, another DevOps developer or engineer. Then we have, let's see, my boss. We have, let's see, that's 4 of us, 5 of us. So there's 5 of us that are like on the core engineering team. So yeah, like 25% of the company, that's your engineering team. And then another 6 to 7 people are data science and data analysts of sorts, or they are some kind of machine learning nerd expert, because we do a good bit of that. So like probably we are definitely way too high on the technology portion of our company for the startup size we're at, but that's kind of what we have to have right now because we are a machine learning startup that needs to be able to sell its product.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it sounds like you could not get unionization on your,
Yeah, there's no way.
Small,
well, yeah, I mean, we could certainly go and fill out the union cards and say we want to be union and represented, but it would be way too easy for the startup to be like, no, we're too small for that. We're just going to let you all go. And especially because the company is founded in Tennessee. Tennessee's an at-will state. So
yep, there you go.
They don't have to give you any reason to let you go. And the other side of that coin is you don't have to give any reason or cause to quit somewhere. So
yeah.
But that has definitely burned me more than it has ever helped me.
I've only raged. I won't call it rage quit. I only abrupt quit once. It was my first network engineering job, and I got the job at Amazon. And the day after I signed the offer and I got the move, like the relocation package, my ride for work for my carpool showed up, and I just went down and I handed him my laptop and said, "Hey, hand this to my boss. I quit."
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was funny at the time because both my sisters and my brother-in-law also worked for that company, and I got a text like, "It's pandemonium here," like because
wow.
I was like one of a couple. There was 2 real network engineers to do the actual engineering, and the other guy was new, like 2 weeks new. I feel terrible about it now that it's 10 years later, but at the time I was just like so fed up. Like I went from making like 50K to 130K, full comp, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gone." Like I'm booking my flight to Seattle now.
Right? Yeah.
But I won't say it burned any bridges because I've never bumped into anyone from there again. But it's that inkling of like, it was the wrong thing to do, and I feel bad about it. Maybe that's karma will kill me one day. We'll see. But I would never do it again. I always give 3-4 weeks notice. Just you need those good terms.
Yeah. Yep. And just in case they call.
Yeah, I think it was just rubber band hate for a year earlier having EA say there's an all hands meeting, and then they handed out separation paperwork and said leave. Like, oh, well, I want to do that. Oh, and being in the military for 8 years, you can't quit. You can't say no. It's just that itch burning to Dolly Parton walk out.
You had to do it once.
Just once. When I got out of the military, I applied to McDonald's just to be able to quit. And they actually did that. You're overqualified. Like, we don't want you. I was like, I can be real stupid. I promise. Like,
but I could put that cheese on that plain hamburger. No problem.
But now I'm a manager. I've got like 5 or 6 employees, and I have, the one-on-ones bi-weekly. And I was like, "Are you happy? You're not leaving me, are you?" Like, everywhere they are is at will. So it's like, if you're feeling sad, like let me know so I can start looking. I'll help you find a better job. Like, I know people. Like, don't hurt me.
Nice.
There you go, Joe.
Oh man, I got it too good though. too good. It's just, it's the ups and downs of startup life.
It's startup life.
Startup life's
Exactly.
nice. The snacks and beer. Oh, you're not in office anymore, but that was always things I like going to startups. Was like, look at all these snacks, these beer, these happy people. We're spending money like it's raining, and then you go public, and it all ends.
Live by the next signed contract, right?
Yeah,
I don't miss agency life. I felt that when I worked for agencies. Oof, I felt that. Yeah, that was rough. Going from contract to contract, and did not like that.
Yeah, I just converted a contractor to full time, and I was always curious, like, because some people love that lifestyle, and other ones they're just always scared of the next job. And when I sat him down, I was like, "Hey, would you consider going FTE for me?" And he was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus, yes." Yeah, he was like, "My wife hates
hallelujah.
it. No, like, I don't have health care, like no vacation days, these crazy hours, like, come on, fam, let me cut your pay by 30% and make you happy."
Right. Go see a doctor while you're at it. Yeah, man, I'd be lying if I said healthcare wasn't a big decision when it comes to even deciding to go look for a job or whatnot. It can be terrifying knowing that your health is tied to your day job.
Oh yeah,
and there's so much uncertainty of where you're going, and are you going to have as good of a healthcare plan? Are you going to be able to go see your same doctor? I just hate that our industry or this country is tied that the healthcare is tied so much to my profession.
Well, and that one health issue can basically wipe you out.
Yeah.
So you're
even
saying,
if you have insurance.
Are you saying doctor care is not cheap in the US?
Yeah.
Before I got married, before I had the kid, I would always decline the insurance for the companies I that because I have, as a disabled vet, I get health care through the VA, and that is an atrocious experience. It's like, hey, I'm missing my hand. I got a gunshot wound, and there's an alligator, biting me now. I'm like, all right, well, in 7 months we can get you in to see a janitor.
For a consultation.
Yeah, so when I got married and a kid, I got them insurance, and I was like, well, now I have insurance. And then I went to a doctor's office, and I was like, oh, these chairs didn't come from an alley behind a subway? Like, these nurses, you mean
there's a doctor? There's a doctor here in the building?
But now, like, I can't go back. I can't, like, if I go contracting, I'd have to ship my family back to the Philippines, where healthcare doesn't cost $9 billion.
Right.
Like, having the kid cost me $1,300 for 5 days in the hospital and a cesarean. In the US, that would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. Tens of thousands.
Or
if not more.
One Louisiana witch doctor and a bathtub.
I mean, you get what you pay for in Louisiana.
You get a good meal. There are benefits.
Gross but true.
That's a lot of news.
That was. Oh wow, it's downloaded already. Is that some sort of internet sorcery?
Oh yeah, my StarCraft finished a while ago.
Oh, nice.
Gotta love that high speed. I'm just waiting for it to become even faster. Just waiting for them to update all of the COs and stuff with the new routers that can handle it.
Now that I've officially decided that I'm moving back to the Pacific Northwest somewhere, AT&T came out and said, "Oh, we're doing 2 gig and 5 gig in your area for less than what I'm paying now."
I can't get anything more than 25 megabit from AT&T. All they'll do in my suburb. So I have Comcast, and I've always had really good luck with Comcast. Here, except for here a few different issues here and there, but
yeah. Is AT&T's FiOS symmetrical?
Could you try again?
Same up down?
I
couldn't quite find that answer.
I don't know.
So in Memphis, AT&T offers symmetric fiber, and it's like $90 a month. It's ridiculously cheap, but there's like 3 subdivisions in the city that can get that.
Yeah.
Or it's more than that, but a friend of mine has it and I'm insanely jealous.
Yeah.
One area I looked at that got promptly, crossed off the list, they offered 1.2 down gigs and 35 megs up.
That's what some of the Uverse is here.
Yeah.
Is you get fiber, like you get 1,000 or 100 megabit down, or you get fiber speeds down, but up they're like, no, fuck you. You get 20 meg.
Yeah.
There's literally an elf writing your ones and zeros on a potato and putting it in a box, giving it to UPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just the starch potato just coming off of it onto the internet wire. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then Elon Musk's Starlink, everywhere I look, it's like, oh, coming in mid 2023. It's like, man, I should have got on that gravy train.
My boss has it, but I don't think he's actually set it up and used it yet. I think he's had the satellite dish sitting in his garage for like 6 months now.
Yeah, I mean,
and he has like the worst time with Comcast too. And what's so funny is he's like 3 miles down the road from me in a completely different subdivision. So it's like, and he's just got and he actually had to go through the FCC to get Comcast to stop trying to collect on an account from him that they never closed at his address. There was like some like $5,000 payment that they were after him for. And he had to go to the FCC. And he was like, you know what? You want to get Comcast to stop calling you, you file an FCC complaint, because they will call you back the next morning and they will have a completely different attitude. Somebody from a completely different department calls you, because once you get the FCC involved, they're screwed. So yeah, that was like, that's a good trick to keep in mind.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Even if it's not internet or communications or telco related, I'm going to call the FCC.
Yeah, just call the FCC.
Nuggets, call the FCC. Arby's, they had their Diablo burger, and it lasted like 2 days, and it went away. It's the most amazing thing ever. FCC, tomorrow.
Yes. It must return.
So is that the McRib secret? Do enough people complain that McRib is gone to the FCC? The FCC is like, hey, McDonald's, it's time. McRib is back. It's time.
Yeah.
It just went away a few weeks ago here. It was here for like 6 months straight. And then apparently enough people died from it that they took it back off the menu.
They had to pull it because meat didn't quite.
They ran out
still
of
more meat in a McRib than there's still more meat in McRib than a Taco Bell taco though, right? Well, that's still accurate.
One's pork, one's horse.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's special filling with seasoning.
I thought that was just a Hardee's thing.
Oh, Hardee's. What do they call it on the west side? Carl's Jr.
Carl Jr.'s. Yeah, Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr.
God, that place was great. I haven't seen one in like 10 years, 11 years. They still exist.
I got food poisoning twice, so I never go.
I don't blame you.
Well,
but hey, I will take that Taco Bell taco.
Oh my God, Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean Taco Bell, it's a known quantity. You know what you're doing to yourself. It's like a sack full of crystals or White Castle.
Yeah.
You make the announcement to the family, stay out of the bathroom for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
And Taco Bell's so good, you could get the wrong order and still be like, still a win.
Yeah, it's fine. And even better when you get the cinnamon twirls in there, right? It's like extra, just bonus.
It's like, I didn't order any of this. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are a big fan of it. The Mexican pizza's coming back next month.
Oh man,
I heard.
Yeah. You take 2 Mexican pizzas and put a Crunchwrap Supreme in between them.
My heart hurts.
Eat it on the toilet.
It just goes right through.
I feel my arteries hardening.
This show will be censored in by tomorrow.
No, it's all right. Remember, I got demonetized.
Carl's Jr.'s is going to be in there like, hey, y'all want a sponsor?
I appealed it just to see what they would say, because you can say like, hey,
sure.
I did nothing wrong. Tell me exactly what I did. Do you remember, it was the first video on my channel. It's gone now, but the Death is Temporary raid fight that I put Happy Birthday to as the soundtrack. That is the music because there was a copyright. It wasn't a strike. It was a copyright claim on my video. And when they came in and did the manual review, they saw that and just shut the whole channel down.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Oh, that
sad.
I remember that.
God, yeah. That was my best video.
Doomed by Happy Birthday.
Yeah, it was Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all them singing Happy Birthday. Apparently Disney's some big company that cares about their IP. I don't know.
So going back to the Star Wars games, I think that you're seeing all these Star Wars games go into development with the widening of the Star Wars IP worlds with the Book of Boba Fett, the Bad Seed, the Mandalorian. I think, I mean, I would totally play a Mandalorian game. Give me Mando. Let me go break shit and bounty hunt. Hell yeah. Give me GTA with Mando and I'm there. So I'm hoping that we start to see some of more of these adjacent properties get video games to go with them.
Yes. And there's just so much that is hinted at or talked about in passing. Kind of like what the SWTOR did, is they just went like, oh, we're going to go 10,000 years in the past and make our own story, but then they're starting to tie it into the future. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of these games started tying all these separate universes together. That would be a lot of fun. Give lore nerds something to chat about on Reddit for days on end. But
so are y'all watching the Book of Boba Fett?
Yep.
No,
I haven't watched the newest one yet.
You're waiting. Okay, so you haven't watched the no spoilers. What I have enjoyed so much about the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian is, I think we talked about it last time, the world building. You get to see all of these worlds in a completely different view because much of the Book of Boba Fett is on Tatooine,
right?
And it's just awesome because you see so many things that are throwbacks or callbacks to the 1 through 3 series or even the original movies, and it's just so cool from a nerd reference. It's like, hey, I get that joke, or I get that. It's like it's like Disney's fondness for hiding the Easter eggs and all of their content, and it's just taken to the next level with Star Wars, and it's fantastic.
I agree. Yep.
Oh, and this most recent episode of the Book of Boba Fett was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who has directed some of the Mandalorian. I
was she wearing high heels?
I'm unable to confirm.
When you said that name, I was like, from Dallas Buyers Club? What? That's not very nice.
No. Ron Howard's daughter. She was in Jurassic Park. She was in the
hence
Jurassic
the high
World.
heel remark.
Yeah.
God, now it all makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's done a lot of directing,
yeah.
And she's really good at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, how many episodes are? How long do I have to freaking wait to see this?
I think you've got to wait like 5 more weeks or 6 more weeks for Boba Fett.
This was number 5. Was it 5? Yeah.
I think this was 5.
Yeah, because
I think there's 10.
Season 2 of The Mandalorian was just pure torture. Waiting for that to finish so I could watch it.
See, I had to watch that one as it came too, because just too many spoilers. And I don't usually I'm not usually one for watching trailers or anything like that. But The Mandalorian just sucked me right in.
Season 1 was so great. It hit all the
you're
right
gonna
notes.
You're gonna love this episode of Boba Fett. No spoilers. It is okay. It's just great. And you'll know why when you watch it.
5 episodes out. Today, episode 5 hit. The series consists of 7 episodes, so I got to wait 2 more weeks.
Oh, only 7.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was
7.
10.
Yeah. That makes today's episode even more interesting because they spent so much time on what they did. So it must be super important. If you've seen the episode already, you know what I'm talking about.
I have not yet.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
I'm looking for a second non-official source to verify that it says a 7-episode original series. Oh, that's the official tweet. So yeah, 7 episodes. Oh, nice. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the short seasons, like Hawkeye was short.
Ever since the Guild Actors strike years ago, everything went from being 20-something episodes to 10 to 16 episodes.
I thought that was just studios buying shorter seasons for stuff because they didn't want to commit to 20 something episodes of something that wasn't going to last.
So when you look around when that strike was, I'm not saying it's all inclusive, but a lot of shows, like you'll look at the series and then you line it up with the year that happened. They went from like 24 episodes to like 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And then once the strike was over, it's like 10 to 15. And it's like, my guess is the actors said, make us, give us all your money. And the studio's like, all right, I'll just make you work less and I'll pay you the same. Ta-da. But yeah, it's definitely sad. Like some of these shows, like Loki, I wish that was 100 episode. Season.
Loki.
That show
another short great one. Yep.
Mandalorian, like that should be a 24/7.
Just give me the TV channel.
What was that Jim Carrey movie? Truman? Like I just want a camera.
Truman Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the short seasons as long as there's another show after the one I just watched. Right. There isn't any content gap, like WoW. That there is something that I can just follow it up so I can just keep watching something. And hopefully they continue to do that. I'm gonna
stream. Joe's tugging on his tail over there.
Yeah, that's right. I have.
His cat's saying it's bedtime, man.
It's definitely it's very sad when a show ends officially and then it's like a block of your future schedule gets removed forever. It's like, well, now I got to find something to fill that gap, because if you do have a content gap, that's when you start making meth, beating your neighbor's kids. Like that stuff happens. TV saves lives.
Drinking even heavier than before.
Yes. You start doing that thing where you're like, oh, like, I get drunk, put it in this hole. Let's see what happens when I put it in the other hole.
I'm just saying, Discovery Plus has some deep dives for you. There are plenty of shows that you could lose a portion of your life watching.
Yeah.
History Channel as well.
Oh, I love the History Channel.
We've been stuck on Curse of Oak Island. So.
If I had never watched, if I hadn't been a Deadliest Catch fan all these years, even as terrible as the show has become, if I hadn't had watched that show religiously all this time, I would just be like, you wouldn't see me for a year because I'd just be watching all of that on Discovery again.
Binging it.
Yeah.
Over and over.
I remember Deadliest Catch. I was like, this is a lot of fun. I love the premise. It's great. And then someone was like, you should watch Whale Wars. And I watched like 2 episodes and I was like,
no,
this is not Deadliest Catch. Both happen on water. That's where the similarities end.
Yes.
Whale Wars.
Very much so.
All right. I think that's a good stopping point. We'll gather some more content. I'll set up the separate streaming machine and I'll build us a nice little StarCraft map. We can do some less talking, more grunting in our next show.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll be the first one to get wiped out. It's fine.
I'll set static bases and I'll put you in the back. I'll be in the middle, and we'll put old Joe there on points.
I know how to make roaches.
There you go. All right, awesome. Well, thanks,
sounds great, guys.
Hang on 1 second. Be quiet for 7 seconds while I play our awesome intro again. All right, we're gonna call it the outro.
Bringing you yesterday's news today. Nerds drinking.
You didn't hear it, but it happened on the stream. And
hopefully the sound was on.
Yeah, I got a little pop-up on OBS that shows me that it's streaming the sound. Whether or not it actually streamed, I'll find out when I look at this tomorrow.